Hey there, beautiful people. If you thought my family had way too many hamsters, just wait until I tell you about all the pups we've got. And that's not even counting the panda. But hold up, let's take this one step at a time because this story is crazier than a Mexican soap opera. Quick heads up before we dive in. 5 of these little ladies have the same mama. Right now, they're all super happy, and mama's 11 years old. None of them have had a boyfriend that keeps them up at night except maybe one. We're not really sure. We'll get to that later. Hit that like button if you want me to spill that tea in the next video. Some folks think dogs aren't as smart as cats, that maybe they're dumb and not very loyal. But let me ask you this. What do y'all think? Are cats more faithful or are dogs? I think dogs are way more popular than cats now. If it wasn't for dogs, lions, bears, capybaras, we wouldn't have YouTube as a platform. They literally live off puppy content. But honestly, who doesn't love having little critters in their house? I think anyone who hasn't had one close to their heart, or let them lick your hands or your legs while they act all cat-like, doesn't know what they're missing to boost their health. All your anxieties just melt away, and all you care about is your fragile little animal buddy. People love putting us in 2 boxes. You're either a dog person or a cat person. But why do I have to pick just one? Can I look at these 2 animals and say they both have awesome qualities? I'm bisexual with animals. Sounds weird, but that's how it is. I'll confess that I love cats too, but when I lost one, I couldn't get over it. I still miss him. I think I'm kinda addicted to Enya's love. She's a Maltese Bichon mixed with French Poodle who only thinks about hugging me every time she sees me. When she was born, the first thing she did was growl and dive head first into the water bowl. Maybe that's what love feels like, don't you think? But wait, here comes the good part. That moment warned me and my wife that Enya loved to swim, but with a high risk of drowning. Every time we went to a park, she'd launch herself into the lake or pool. Can you imagine the heart attack she gave us? Someone had to practically dive in head first to get her out. Those were the days. But she didn't just have that crazy obsession with jumping in water. She also loved hunting pigeons. One night when I got home, I noticed I was missing one of my 6 little girls. So I'm yelling and yelling, "Enya! Enya!" But she wouldn't come out. When I looked under the furniture, I found Enya with a pigeon that had already crossed over to the other side, covered in bugs that I'd rather not describe. It was like a scene from a horror movie. When Tabata, the mama, came to our home, we never thought she'd have so many puppies one day. I remember we were living through COVID and spending all our time locked up at home. When we saw that Tabata wasn't doing well, she was chubby, having weird pains, whimpering. We called the vet to give her an ultrasound. But the little lady heard everything, because within minutes, she decided to give birth. She gave us 6, but the last one came out an hour later. That was my first natural birth experience. Have y'all ever been through something like that? Drop it in the comments. By the way, I named her Tabata after the show Bewitched, where Samantha had a daughter with that name. When they gave her to me, they said, "There's one little problem. They're lap dogs." I didn't understand what that meant until many years later, when I discovered they don't spend a minute away from me. They're literally my shadows. We were a family with 6 little girls, until one day, a cat showed up with a busted head. He had a huge hole, was so helpless that we thought the best thing was to heal him. We took him to the doctor, they bandaged him up, and he stayed with us. It looked like we were going to be 9 in the family, but the cat decided to remove his bandage and, with the wound open, went up to the roof and wouldn't come down. Then we heard a fight. Maybe it was another cat, but what we found out later was that the little guy had died. It made us so sad. After that, cats have followed us in every house we've lived in. Once a mama cat came with her cute baby to stay while we found them a home. But wait, this is where it gets incredible. That cat brought an iguana that she had devoured the head of. Guess who she gave the head to as a gift? Sometimes they'd let you pet them and even sit on your lap, but if you tried to pick them up, they'd hiss and bite you. They were wild cats, but they've always found adorable families to adopt them. The quails were a whole other level of terror. We decided to raise 5, because we always liked having little animals at home. What happened next was terrifying. They made a ton of noise, and we didn't know why until one day we realized they were eating each other. It was survival of the fittest in there. Not a day went by without a dead one half-eaten. It was horrible. We had to give away the last two until they grew wings and flew away. Subscribe if you want me to tell the complete story of the killer quails. Then I got the idea to raise turkeys. I fell in love with them. They were so sweet. They recognized their owner, the one who feeds them, who takes care of them. I had a special relationship with them, but you can't imagine what happened. A visitor arrived that I never in my life would have imagined running into. A fox. Yeah, for real. But this fox was smart. He'd stand on two legs like he was human and stare at me, like he knew who he was and who I was. The bandit took one of mine, but guess who helped me free the turkeys from this nasty animal? My little girls. They scared him away and he left. Later, I had to sell all the little turkeys because they were too big and made too much of a scene when they saw me. And now comes the part I haven't told you about. Remember I mentioned the panda at the beginning? Well, turns out my pet story doesn't end with dogs and cats. A year ago, due to circumstances that only life can explain, I ended up taking care of a baby panda bear that was rescued from an illegal circus. Don't ask me how he ended up at my house because I don't even know. His name is Bamboo, obviously, right? And let me tell you, having a panda at home is like living with a 440-pound kid who only eats vegetables and sleeps 14 hours a day. At first, I thought it would be easy. He's a vegetarian bear, I told myself. How hard can it be? First, Bamboo decided my living room was his personal jungle. He destroyed 2 couches trying to make his perfect nest. Second, he eats between 33 and 44 pounds of bamboo a day. Do you know what it costs to get fresh bamboo in the city? My budget went through the roof, but the craziest thing is that Bamboo has personality. When he's happy, he rolls around the whole house like a giant ball. My little girls were scared of him at first, but now they play with him like he's just another dog. Enya, the water-crazy one, even taught him how to swim in a giant inflatable pool I had to buy especially for him. Hit that like if you want me to upload a full video of Bamboo playing with the girls. The daily routine with Bamboo is epic. He wakes up at 6 a.m. with a roar that shakes the whole house. He eats breakfast like a king, fresh fruit, tender bamboo, and sometimes even honey. Then he crashes until 10, when he decides it's time to work out, which basically consists of rolling around the yard while my girls run around him like crazy. The sweetest thing is that Bamboo recognizes me as his dad. When I get home from work, he stands on 2 legs, yeah, like the fox, and hugs me with a strength that almost suffocates me. He's pure love in the form of a giant bear. But taking care of a panda isn't all fun and games. I had to turn my backyard into a mini zoo with special trees for him to climb, a bamboo area that I grow myself, and even a vet station because Bamboo needs constant checkups. Wait until I tell you what happened when Bamboo escaped and showed up at the neighborhood supermarket. But I'll save that story for the next video. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. My first pet was my little dog Lady, named after a really popular show from way back. She was playful, but really feisty. One day she bit me so hard that her fangs left a mark on my leg, a mark that can't be erased that I always remember. She lived as long as she could because little animals don't live forever, but she was buried at my parents' house. She still lives there among us. I have photos where she's standing with my family, with all the little animals in the house. My sister had turtles and then got the idea to have a hamster. He was sleepy and fat. And guess what happened? My sister went to check on him one day, cried and cried because he wouldn't wake up, so she buried him and had a funeral. But the little rascal was playing dead. That's how animals are, for those who don't know. After checking the place where we buried him, he was already gone. The little troublemaker was alive. If something similar has happened to you, drop it in the comments. I want to read your crazy stories. Anyway, that's been my story with pets. Some are sad, others full of terror, but others are pure magic. Pets become your best friend, but they're not in your life forever. So if you have pets, remember to appreciate them now. I have 6 little girls that I love, a panda that drives me crazy with love and exhaustion, and I don't know how much longer they'll be with me. Bamboo helps me tell these stories, and my girls are my daughters. But life is short. Sorry, that part got a little personal, haha. So, my beautiful people, if you have pets, love them with all your strength and all your soul. And start preparing a special place in your house if you want their soul to stay with you forever. What pets have y'all had? Any crazy stories like mine? Drop everything in the comments, and if you made it this far, you're warriors. Hit that like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll tell you about the time Bamboo went viral on TikTok without me knowing. It's gonna be epic. I love y'all, beautiful family. See you soon. Did you like this story? Share it with someone who loves animals as much as we do.